This is our reality now. We have to live without them, which we never thought we'd have to do.
We begin tonight with a heartbreaking story in Vancouver, where hundreds of people came together to remember Michelle Melendez and her young daughter, Layla Stewart, after they were found dead last Wednesday in Washougal. Thank you for joining us. I'm Blair Best. Police have identified Kirkland Warren, Michelle's ex-boyfriend, as a person of interest after court documents show he assaulted and shot up her apartment earlier this month. Daisy Caballero was at the Village today, and Daisy, you talked with some of the victims' close friends.
Yeah, Blair, I did, and oh my gosh, it's such a sad story to be covering. And some people that I spoke to said that they had nothing, they didn't know them, but wanted to do anything that they could to show their support for both Michelle and Layla, and obviously their family as well. And after hearing the heartbreaking story of their disappearance, some of them shared their thoughts.
We're here to have a public vigil and a call to action that the senseless murder of Michelle and Layla did not have to happen.
On Sunday morning, hundreds of people flooded Esther Short Park to remember 27-year-old Michelle Melendez and her young daughter, Layla Stewart, after their bodies were found in Washougal last Wednesday. As of Sunday afternoon, no arrests have been made in the murders, but police have identified Kirkland Warren, Michelle's boyfriend, as a person of interest in their disappearance, after court documents show he assaulted and shot up Michelle's apartment and pressured her into dropping the charges.
Michelle had a restraining order against him, and this is the outcome. That's not right.
Michelle Bart is the president of NW Cave, a Vancouver nonprofit that educates and prevents violence and exploitation against women and children. She says this case has been one of the hardest she's worked on, as it hit her on a personal level.
My friend, who I didn't even know was a school teacher, is Layla's PE teacher, so it took on personal meaning.
Close friends with Layla and Michelle. Layla was pretty much my niece. So yeah, this has been very heartbreaking.
Randall shares her daughter and Layla were born just 2 weeks apart, so they had an incredibly close connection.
We hope something changes. We hope that if a victim comes out and they're scared, that the police do way more than what they did for her.
The Vancouver mayor and police chief spoke at the vigil and shared their condolences with the family, alongside Representative Sharon Wiley and Senator Linda Wilson, who sponsored the Tiffany Hill Act, a bill that orders domestic violence abusers to wear a GPS ankle monitor to notify the victim when their abuser is close by.
This can't keep happening, and I can't imagine the call or the knock at the door when you're told that your family is gone.
We really want to honor the family and make sure they get lots of support for that Layla and her mom is gone.
Layla's schoolmates also showed their support at the vigil, sharing she was a kind and friendly little girl who had many friends at school.
It's hard to imagine something like that happening, for sure, and I have a lot of empathy and compassion, and like I said, we just wanted to be really supportive and let them know that people care and care enough to come out and do this.
Now, Bart tells KGW NW Cave will be looking for funeral homes that can bury both Michelle and Layla together. They have also started a memorial fund for funeral costs. You can find that link on kgw.com a little later tonight. Blair?
All right, Daisy, thank you. Well, turning now to a shooting in Northeast Portland that happened just before 2 a.m. It's the third reported shooting this weekend in the Rose City. Yesterday, 3 people died after a shooting in North Portland. And today, 3 houses were hit. Police have not said if anyone was hurt in today's shooting. Brian Clerkley joins us from where it happened. And Brian, what more can you tell us?
Hey Blair, I'm here on Northeast Haslow Street right now. This is where the shooting happened. And if you take a look at this house right next to me, you can see a bullet hole in the window, and 20 shell casings were on the ground, more than 20 shell casings. And one neighbor that lives in one of these houses that was shot at was close to falling asleep when she felt the glass shatter around her. In the video, you can see glass with bullet holes, shell casings on the ground, and car windows blown out. Andrea Holland says the situation was terrifying. She was laying on the couch about 2 feet from where a bullet hit. She yelled for her sister to make sure she was all right, and she knew immediately that it was gunfire.
Grew up here, and I've never, like my whole life, ever experienced like gunshots through the house. I've heard them at a distance, but never this close.
Andrea went on to say her sister is thinking about moving out of Portland and Oregon because of the crime, and Andrea did say that nobody in her household was hurt, and she's thankful for that. And if we get any more information from police, we'll update everyone on air and on our website, kgw.com. Blair?
All right, Brian, thank you. Well, there was a fatal crash earlier today after a driver smashed this stolen truck into a tree. It happened along Northeast Washougal River Road in Clark County. Now, as you can see, this white truck is completely ruined. Its front is crushed and the roof is off. First responders found one person in the truck after the crash, and they were badly hurt. The driver was taken to the hospital where he died. The truck was reported stolen from Portland yesterday, and the owner has been told about the crash. Law enforcement will continue to investigate. There was also a vehicle theft in Gresham. Authorities say a Kia, similar to the one in this picture, was taken around 6:15 this morning along Northeast 162nd Avenue. The car's owner bought the Kia 3 days ago, and at last check, the car has not been found, and no arrests have been made. Gresham police have this recommendation, though, to all car owners. It's to get an anti-theft device, something like a steering wheel lock that will reduce the likelihood of your car being stolen. Well, we may have started the day with dry conditions, but over the last couple of hours, we've seen a bit of rain and showers in the area.
And don't forget the hail, too. We saw a little hail and some grapple outside our studio. And, you know, we're going to be seeing kind of a cooler and wet pattern heading into the next couple of days, although tomorrow is going to be mainly dry. But this is spring break.
I was about to say, it's spring break.
And I'm also tracking low snow levels that arrive later in the next weekend. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's focus on what we're going to be running into the rest of your Sunday. A slight chance for a better shot of seeing showers than thunderstorms. There could be some rumbles of thunder at times. Again, spring break forecast, it's not bad, but it's not great either. Best day of the week by far is going to be Wednesday. But as we look at the radar, most of the showers have been popping up through parts of the Central Valley over in Salem and just in through the Corvallis, Albany area. Although we have been picking up some heavier cells through parts of Longview and into downtown Portland as well over the last couple of hours or so. And this trend will continue. You can kind of see some of those yellows and oranges just south of Longview that's been popping up here the last couple of hours. As we look at futurecast, so once we get into about 8, 9 o'clock tonight, we're pretty much done with any threat of rain. And if you go over the mountain passes, you're going to be seeing some light snow showers. But by tomorrow afternoon, it's going to be mostly cloudy skies a good part of the day. This front is going to be moving on shore late tomorrow night into Tuesday. It will be bringing in a good amount of rain for a few of us, basically throughout the central and southern part of the Willamette Valley. But it's definitely going to be riding the northern Oregon coast and the southern part of, or rather, California, bringing in some heavy downpours and some wind. I'll talk more about that in just a few minutes.
All right, Joe, looking forward to it. Well, Gordon Moore, Intel co-founder and philanthropist, died on Friday, and he was 94 years old. Moore, who held a PhD in chemistry and physics, helped start Intel in 1968. Moore is also recognized for his famous observation known as Moore's Law, which says technology changes rapidly, and that new electronic devices like hard drives and computer monitors will become obsolete and replaced by a newer version within 18 months. But past professional success, Moore later became known for the philanthropy he started with his wife, the Gordon and Betty Moore Foundation. It focuses on environmental conservation, science, patient care, and projects in the San Francisco Bay Area. The foundation has donated more than $5 billion over the last 2 decades. Well, have you tried to book your car for repair and had a hard time finding an appointment? Well, that may be because there's a big shortage of auto mechanics these days. But while that shortage can make your life tougher, it can be a great opportunity for those looking for jobs. Tim Gordon has more.
It comes with the territory as a driver. You need to get your vehicle in for routine maintenance and sometimes to get problems fixed. That's harder to do now thanks to a big shortage of mechanics or automotive technicians.
It's a really big problem. There's a shortage that I think every shop sees and feels. It hurts.
Jay Goninen started up Wrenchway, which is an online community for auto and diesel professionals. It's launching local chapters in April, including in Portland, to help promote and improve careers in auto repair locally.
A lot of it is just starting conversations and starting to figure out how do we get this ship righted? How do we get more people into the industry and then keep the ones that we've already got.
Wrenchway works with 1,000 auto shops and 500 schools across the country, including Portland Community College and its Automotive Services Technology program.
Pretty much if it's mechanical in a car, we work on it here and teach it.
Jay Kirkendall is an automotive instructor at PCC who says the 2-year training program will get you a certificate and an associate's degree if you add in other coursework.
So they're ready to go out and start in a shop. They have a good knowledge base at that point. They're prepared to go out and start learning the real work of auto repair.
And the real world is hiring. Some estimates put the U.S. shortage of auto techs at more than 500,000, thanks to a long stretch of retiring workers and even more leaving during the pandemic. And if you think of mechanics work as greasy and low paying, those times have changed too, according to Margaret Reagan of the Northwest Automotive Trades Association.
And oftentimes after, 3 to 4 years of getting really good practice and getting more and more experience, these technicians are making $60,000 to $100,000 a year. That's a living wage.
Back at PCC,
I've learned so much already. It's incredible. I really like this program.
Student Angel Orozco is on his way to what he wants to become.
Become a master technician and maybe open my own shop, but we'll see how that pans out.
Tim Gordon, KGW News.